Welcome, cousin. Hello. Look at this for a face. I know it's a face only a mother could love, but still, it's better than it was. That's for sure. Okay. It is 2 weeks, almost to the hour, since I face planted. In fact, it's not even quite to the hour. It's 3 o'clock, and I had my accident at 4:50 p.m. 14 days ago. So here we're going to cook a meal. I've done this before, but I had some music running in the background and I didn't want to get copyright or whatever if I put it up on YouTube, so for you to watch, so even if it's private. So here we go. I'm getting the food. And what are we going to have? We have eggs. Eggs. Oop, watch out, dog's dish. We've got pork roast in here. And we've actually got a topside roast. A topside roast. So this is all we're going to have. We've got a lamb roast in the fridge as well. I'll show you. Oop. So I get this lamb roast. It's $16 a kilo. So with all the string. So it's this is normally you put an hour and a bit, an hour and a quarter in the oven, maybe a bit longer, depending. But it's cheap, and what I do is this, what you'll see, just cut them into steaks and steaklets, depending on what style we want on the day. So we've got the vacuum pump for these Luvele vacuum containers, which I highly recommend. No more Glad wrap. So you release the vacuum. And I'll just get these eggs. So eggs, we're going to take 6 eggs. And we'll put them over here. Put that back in the fridge in a sec. We're going to get a knife and a steel to start with, and do a little steel. Done. And this fork. Bring that over. So this is a pork, I think shoulder roast, I think it is, but pork roast. Again, Coles, not grossly expensive. I'm going to put some gloves on because my hands are a bit affected by stress and stuff. I'm just away at the moment. I'll be back shortly. Just getting some gloves. So Phil, bend over, mate. My hands are falling apart from all the painkillers and the stress and everything, so I have to wear these gloves. Don't feel right not wearing gloves. Okay, so I'll start with this. So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can cut steaks and then cook a whole steak, like the equivalent of a steak. So I go about between 12 and 15 millimetre wide. And I'm going to do 2 of these. There's one. Second one. That's the second one. Now, this is small enough now that it can go back into a smaller one of these. So we will do that. Even this one might be a bit big. I'll get the smaller one. I reckon that'll fit in there. Yep, perfect. So I'll put that in there, you know, because it's quicker and easier and it's more room in the fridge. Now, so the top's on. The little seal unit is in place. This is the vacuum pump. It takes a couple of goes sometimes. You can hear the change in the pump's sound. It means it's getting the air out. Done. Put this back in the fridge. So that's done. Now, the fat, I want to cook that separately. So in little diced cubes, and this is how I go about it. Piece. There's a bit of fat here, so I'll just add that into this mixture. So mixture these pieces that I'll put here. Now, these can be cut into either cooked like that as a sort of like a steak, a big steak, or these mini steaks. That's what I call a mini steak. And I think I like it like this best. So now I'll just do a bunch of mini steaks, and if there's any fatty bits that I don't like so much, as in I like them, but that are a little bit too fine, they can go in here. Another steaky bit, another steaky bit, another steaky bit, and a bit of fat. So they can go there, and I'll just put them in here. That's fine. Same again, we're going to cut this thick skin off. So I've got those. Go back to the steak thing. There's a little bit of fat there. I might just trim that off and put it in here. Steaky piece, a steaky piece, a steaky piece. I reckon that's pretty good. So they all go in there. Then these. Into just little cubes. So I'm a fair way through now, believe it or not, the actual preparation for the whole meal. Preparation, not cooking, preparation. there's only I'll get one of these again, the smallest one. I just like the glass containers, so I'm not really worried they're not going back in the fridge. These will be cooked. If I was going to cook later, and I may actually go in the fridge because I'll be cooking a bit later than this. It's too early at the moment. So that's that. That's that. Now we've got a topside roast, and I will open it. So I put like from the top, I cut across, and this is mainly because what I do is I open it in such a way. Now this will need a container because I'm not using all of this, so it'll need a container to go back in the fridge. So I'll just get that. And I will get a big container because I'm not quite, it'll probably fit in the next size down. But what I'm going to do, I open it like that, fork, and then I just gently ease it out of that bag without tipping it. Drain it a little bit. Now this, with all the blood in it, goes down to the dog. And he cleans it up and sorts it out, and that's beautiful. Now, same story, it's a roast, but look at I mean, this one's probably a little bit too lean, but still we've got the pork. So I'm going to cut about the same, 15 millimetres, 1.5 centimetres. And that fat, that can go in there. Again, a second one. And this is just what I've worked out is about the right amount for Delia and I. And with a little bit that might go back in the fridge, and tomorrow I can eat that, or if I want a snack or whatever. Delia tends not to snack or anything like that. Oh, well, she does, but on cheese. So, that into there. And its lid. Pimp, press down, start the pumping. When you hear it change tone, you can let go because it's sort of sucked down onto it. And you can see this buckling down as the vacuum's pulled. And that goes off automatically. So again, just cut these fatty bits off, and I'll just cube that while I'm waiting for that pump to pump. More fatty bits. That can go in there as well. Same here. Fatty bit. That goes in there. That fat. And if you've got a good pair of scissors, like chicken carcass scissors, you know, the ones you cut chicken up with, you can actually cut along those long fatty bits, and these bits you can cut with scissors. So you want, this will become steaks, mini steaks I mean. You could cook them like this, that's fine. Or you have like these mini mouth bites, which I love. You can control the cooking of these much, much better. And the dog's finished his paper. So, right now what you're looking at is, these will get cleaned up in a minute. This will go back in the fridge. What the dog got can go in the bin. So that gets fried after the eggs. So I'll do the eggs first. Over here, the GreenPan is here. The GreenPan that you're going to get soon, if not already. That'll get a wash. I'll just do it now, just so you can see that. Get it done. Get it over and done with. Never wash your good knife up in the normal sink. Just wash it immediately, wipe it and dry it and put it away. Otherwise it'll clash with the other things in the sink. You probably know this, of course, and it'll blunt everything. Sam, get down. Put your chef's hat on if you're going to do that. And this way, washing the board down straight away gets it done, not a problem. Perfect. That's done. And I don't have to worry about that till tomorrow night. So now what we've got to do is we are going to move everything across over here. And I'll bring the camera over, turn the light on. I'll just stop this and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So, I wonder if that should be up higher, probably. Okay. I'll just put this up a bit higher. Methinks. Yep. Okay, we've got these smaller pieces, which are the second lot. They're the last. And we've got the eggs. Get my tools out of the drawer. Tongs. An egg flip. A spoon, which you'll see how that goes, what I use it for, why I use it. And this scraper. This is non-stick, you don't use this end in it. This is just a thing to stick under the legs to make the fat or oil go one way or the other. Okay, I wasn't going to cook straight away, but I am now because I think it's late enough, and by the time Delia gets up here we'll be ready to have dinner, and it'll only be 4:15, which is good. It means we're nearly there. The last thing is butter, and that's probably about the right amount, 35 grams, something like that. I mean, you can use lard, like dripping. Oh, see this? This is Western Star butter. Here he comes. Do you want your butter paper? Now, I don't know whether you'll see it. I'll bring you up so you can. There you go. You whack his feet on it and lick it. There you go. Put on. And in the end, see, he's got his foot on it, so it doesn't slide. And he will lick that perfectly flat. And we package these up. Once they're flattened, he'll get it completely flat. Even that little ear on the end, he'll change that. He'll get that so it's flat. He might not, but 9 times out of 10, the thing is as flat as a pancake when he's finished with it. No butter, so no waste. Right? And we're going to pack them all up, you know, when we get enough of them. Hey, that was a pretty lame effort. That's the worst effort I've seen. Anyway, we're going to pack them all up and send them back to the butter company, Western, whatever it's called. That was pretty pathetic. Western Star. So he does the flattening. It's good. And we just send it all back, you know, get them to repack new butter in the old packaging. I think it's a good idea. Definitely, you know, green. Now, talking about green, I think I worked this GreenPan out. I was having trouble with it before. So I've turned it on. And I want a temperature of 150, I'm going to say. And start it. It's preheating. I won't put that on sound. We want really good sound quality, and there's no smoke or anything. Nothing that needs to go away at the moment. So we've started to melt the butter. I'll just bring this over so you can see better. I'll put that over there as well. So the butter is melting. I mean, it's not real technical, but it's still nice to have a look at it being done. I should have said what time it was when I started. I'd say it would have been $3:20, so it's about 17 minutes. I can tell you by the length of the videos. But anyway, so now we put the eggs in. Some of these are double yolkers actually. And this is just how easy this is. That just means it's come up to temperature. This is a double yolker, I reckon. No. I've got 3 the other night, and I got 2 last night. None so far. There's a double yolker. Quite a different colour. Another double yolker. See, they're really good. So it's 6 eggs, 2 for Delia, 3 double yolkers. There you go. Like I said, I was getting disappointed. I thought I didn't have any. Okay. So, I mean, it's too simple, isn't it? So, as I said in the one that I haven't used, the other video that I haven't used, this is a bit boring because, yeah, this is where you've got to stand around and wait. But what I can do while I'm waiting is I can get white pepper. Now that's nearly out. There's supposed to be another white pepper, a brand new one. Where are you, white pepper? What did I was going to say, what did Mummy do with the white pepper? The new one. Here it is. But there's probably enough in this, so so I'm putting the white pepper in now. Now people say, should you season your stuff? Hey, I'm not going to die in a ditch. It's meant to be, you know, something that you can actually achieve, you know, with spices or whatever. You know, don't overdo it, but white pepper is one of the better ones, supposedly. And you need salt, and this is the light salt, which is 50% table salt, 50% potassium, which is something that you do need. And even if you supplement, the amount of potassium you can get out of this or supplements is so minuscule, it's not like, Phil, that you're going to hurt your liver or your kidneys or anything else. It just doesn't happen that way. Sorry. So I've learnt anyway. I can never guarantee anything. As they say, I'm not a medical professional. It's not medical advice. I'm just parroting with that. Anyway, I wouldn't give medical advice because the medical fraternity, I think, needs some education or re-education. I sincerely mean that. If what the ketogenic, carnivore, ketovore, low carb, high fat, saturated fat community is saying, and scientists, doctors, researchers, if they're all doing their own due diligence now, they've cottoned onto this, then, and they've got no vested interests, or very little. It's not like trillions or billions of dollars worth of interest, and big companies that have to keep running. To me, I trust the people that seem to give a crap whether you survive healthily or whether you just turn into a fat machine, a sugar-burning, fat, unhealthy, uneducated. Anyway, sorry. I'm not blaming people for being fat. There's nothing. People should not blame themselves, other than if they're given the information about this and they ignore it, then you can start picking on them. Because that's what I call willful ignorance. And I think willful ignorance, then you can put the blame or put some sort of shame or whatever onto people who have metabolic issues, are obese. I mean, look, there's people who are still obese that are on the carnivore diet because it's not something you can't instantaneously, miraculously become a skinny, lean, healthy person. The damage you've done with the high carbohydrate, low fat, seed oil diets, and not to mention all the junk food as well. I mean, they're all junk food, but the junk food. Like you when you go to a supermarket and you just see, maybe 80% of the whole supermarket is pure, unadulterated junk. And you talk about save the planet, or you talk about, save the animals or whatever. You go into a supermarket and you imagine that 90% of the supermarket is gone. How much of a saving for the planet is that? And that gets those companies that are just making money on your health. I mean, is it malfeasance? I don't know what the word is for it, but man, it's not good. All right, so back to the cooking. Sorry about that. Lid off. You can put the lid on, capture a bit of heat. Make it cook on the top a bit quicker. But what I've found is it doesn't burn at the bottom or get overly browned and crisp. It's about right when the top is about right for my tastes with the runniness or whatever of the egg. I don't like the whites being uncooked. Anyway, so you can have the lid on or you can have the lid off. Totally up to you. Oh, and I've sort of shot myself in the foot here because normally I have the serving plates, but I'm filming, so it makes it a little bit more difficult space-wise because the camera's taking up the space that I have for other things. So, I'll put this where I normally put it, just there. Okay, so I've got the plates, and as you can see, if dinner is pretty much this, maybe different meats, and maybe it's bacon, not the pork roasts or whatever, it's just a bacon. Now, bacon. You're better off with pork belly and turn it into a bacon, because bacon tends to have, it's messed with to some extent. So bacon's still good, but it is slightly messed with. So, yeah, bacon, probably, we're avoiding it now. It's expensive, it's messed with a bit, and if you do the pork belly like I'm showing you here, where you cut the fatty bits up into little cubes, and then you cut the meaty bits into steaks, or all cubes, it doesn't really matter, you can do it either way, and then you cook it well, it's fantastic, and you salt it well afterwards. And if you want other seasoning, I mean, within reason. But that's research. You have to do your own research into what seasoning you think you can afford to put on, considering things like oxalates and vegetation of any kind. Nearly always has oxalates. Some are shocking, like spinach. You have to learn about oxalates and lectins and stuff like that, just to know whether you should have a little bit of that old-fashioned veggies. But once you see the information, it's really, really, really hard to justify undermining your health with something that is virtually poison. I mean, you can have a healthy bunch of meat or healthy eggs and stuff like that, but if you eat junk as well as that, it doesn't matter how much healthy food you're eating. It's like, I can have a healthy life, but if I shoot myself in the head with a gun, that's going to turn out badly for me. I may not die, may take several shots, but I mean, it's the same sort of thing. You kill yourself either very quickly, like you're seeing young people getting obese, having metabolic issues, mental issues, diabetes, all kinds of stuff, fatty liver, and this is kids, because they've been weaned off the breast, if they ever got there, on the breast, off the breast and straight into the McDonald's and the chocolates and the carbohydrates and crap like that. So straight away, straight out of the blocks, like a racer getting over 100 metres, gets there very quickly. So they don't even make it to 20 years old before they're diabetics. I mean, it's disgusting. Am I ranting? Probably. Anyway, the point is, you've done damage. If you're an adult and you've been eating the standard sort of diet and not worried about whether you eat lots of carbohydrates and lots of sugar and chocolate and stuff like that, and I mean sweetened chocolate, there's a for and against for the darker chocolates, the more 90%, 80% chocolates. They might be okay, but then there's the oxalates and the lectins and the poisons in things like that, plus the carbs. So these eggs are just about done, and this is where I use this spoon, and I can hold the eggs. I can either spoon them in, shovel them into the spoon, or the spoon assists me in putting it onto the spatula, egg flip. So that's Delia's eggs done. And it's up to her how many she has. She tells me she wants 2, she gets 2. If she wants more, she gets more. I have 4, and yolk-wise, I always get those double yolkers. Well, yeah, anyway, I'm a pig. But I can be. On this diet, I don't have to restrict myself. Unless there's some reason that I can find in the research and the information. If I can find a reason why I should restrict myself, like fast, but we've already fasted. We didn't eat, we've only eaten a midge since yesterday at 4 o'clock. Oh, that's... Okay, so we are a third of the way there. Eggs are done. Next is the cubes, which is the fatty strips, the rindy parts, the skin, whatever you want to call it, of the pork belly, or if you're doing bacon, you can do it that way. But bacon, you can usually just dice up or put the whole bacon in. It's just for cooking. This is so much easier each lot has its own style to be cooked, and the amount that's there takes a certain amount of time, and I don't have to fuss about whether the big bits get this bit and the little bits get that bit, and they're all in together then, and it's hard to time the cooking. This way, each one has its allocated time and look and feel. It's fantastic. And this is more interactive because you've got to keep moving it around quite quickly. Because even though this is a non-stick pan and excellent, you know, when the fat starts to render out and it whatever the word is, caramelizes onto the bottom of the pan, you know, it's a bit like it locks in like a limpet sticks, but it's not really sticking, it's just sticky. And so if you move it round, it doesn't do that as easily. And we're only on 150 degrees, and that reduces that tendency to stick. But it slows the cooking time. Like if I want this to cook faster, I can go to the temperature and I can go up, say with these, I want them to cook nice and crispy and brown. I'll go press the temperature button, you raise the temperature, and I go up to 175. Now it's on 175, and it'll cook quicker now. So, you know, how long does it take? Well, if you really cook it like searing it, like a stir fry, you can have this done pretty much in the same time as it would take to chop it up on the cutting board. But I don't mind taking a little bit of time because it's not that hard anyway. How technical is this? It's not like French chef where you're running to the cupboard and the drawers and getting out this much of it and this much of it. It's still fantastic. It's just, and it's so easy. If you think cooking's a pain in the arse, well, this is the diet for you. The only thing that's a pain in the arse is that, like anything, if you have to do it every night, you might get a bit bored of it. But I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Because I look at it and I see what I'm going to be eating soon, and it's so fulfilling and satiating, and I'm not saying that it doesn't take time to come across from, especially if you're a vegan or a vegan especially, but vegetarian as well. If you're coming across from someone who doesn't eat meat, there might be some emotional or mental things to have to come to grips with, but that's all they are. There's no good, valid reason why this diet that is actually, I would guarantee it's close to the most healthy. And as they are saying now, it is important to transition because of those things, oxalates and lectins. Oxalates in particular, they accumulate in your body, and they're like shards of glass apparently, and they accumulate in your body. And kidneys, I have kidney stones left, right and centre because of the diet, and I just happen to make kidney stones. That's where my oxalates are put away. But other people, it's everywhere in your body. And holy shit, the dog scares the dog when the popcorn goes off like that. That's why you've got to keep stirring it. Well, that bit's gone to the moon. It'll be the first thing it's been to the moon, I reckon. Anyway, so the oxalates get stored away, sequestered away because they're toxic. Not only are they toxic, but the oxalates in vegetables and leafy greens and everything, especially the high ones like spinach, the oxalates bind very readily to things like calcium, magnesium, and all your minerals, right? They actually have an affinity for the minerals. So they actually take the minerals out of your supply chain. And so that's why people can be short on calcium and the different electrolytes and things, the things that oxalates bind with. And so you need extra if you're eating oxalates. But because a lot of this stuff is not even considered by most people, they don't even bother with extra salt. In fact, they don't eat salt because they're told that salt's bad for you. And it's the complete opposite. There's nothing wrong with salt. It's the other crap you're putting, it's the bullets you're putting into your head. That's what the problem is, not the salt. If you don't have any electrolytes or salts in your body, you are dead. It's as simple as that. If you put no more sugar in your life ever, or carbohydrates ever, in your face, ever again in your life, you will prosper. You will not die, and you will not get heart disease, and you will not have any problems. But if you do the same thing with oxalates and sugars and shit like that, you will have negative side effects. And that's a fact. As far as I can tell, that's a fact. And I'm not what do you call it, misleading or misrepresentation or misinformation, nothing like that. That's just a fact. Plenty of research that is being re-uncovered. When some of the research that was done by these companies turns sour on them, see, as soon as I stop stirring it, popcorn. The dog hates that. He doesn't mind if they go on the floor and he gets them, but he doesn't like the popcorn because he gets oil in his eyes and stuff like that when he's standing down here. Anyway, so you can see you've got to keep it moving. Now this soon, very soon, will be at a point where I feel happy with the cookedness of it, and I'll put it over this side. And what I'm going to do now is turn it off. I'm going to get this little spatula, and this is where I put it under the machine. It's sloping that way now, so all the oil is going down to that side. So while it's still hot, I just let these use that last bit of residual heat to get to the colour and the crispiness that I want. And at the same time, the oil is being drained to that side. And the reason is, you'll see. I'm getting hungry. And when Delia was a vegetarian and when I was eating mainly vegetarian, I'd occasionally say, please can I have some meat? But basically I was a vegetarian as well. But when we were, Delia would say, and Delia was doing all the cooking, because she'd prepare, the French style or the Asian style where it's got so many herbs and spices and extras and add-ons, and right? And Delia would say to me just about every night, what would you like for dinner? And I'd be going, I don't know. I don't know what I want for dinner. I want a surprise, like a kid. I want a surprise. Yeah, but what do you want for dinner? I just want chocolate. No, but what are you going to have for dinner? I want dessert. I want some ice cream. I want some alcohol. So the actual food, these beautiful vegetarian meals that Delia was cooking, when I was asked what I want, anything, she's making it. I can have anything I want. And what do I ask for? Meat or something along those lines. And in the end, sometimes we possibly getting down to the point where you have an argument. I don't care what I have. All right, I'll cook anything then. Yeah, you just cook whatever you like. Now, what do you want? Bacon, lamb, beef, eggs, salt, anything else? Well, there is nothing else. Not that it's restrictive. I love it. So far, I'd say pure carnivore, apart from like coffee, it's all we eat. It's not boring. 4 months, whatever it is. And before that, it was ketogenic diet, which is still lots of leafy greens, lots of vegetables and stuff, just the cruciferous, no potato, no pasta, no, and there's certain things in the ketogenic diet that still allows, or that does allow vegetables and leafy greens. There's ones within that they advise to minimise. Like anyone, no one can tell you what you should and shouldn't do. The only one that can do that is yourself, and the only way you can know whether you know what is good for you is to do the research, look at the information, and if you decide that you still want to shoot yourself in the head with a Russian roulette gun, go for it. I don't think anyone, I mean, yeah, your family and friends will be upset that you're now disabled, however that might be. I mean, you might die, or you might just be so ill that you can't go out. Like, I've got friends that I can't go and do things with them because they're just not physically able to do it anymore. And that's sad. And I'm not picking on people for that. It's just sad that they won't take the information in and run with it. At least experiment. You may find that it's bullshit for you, but if you adhere to the exact thing and you don't just say, 2 seconds, that's too hard, or I've got diarrhea, or some other thing that they come up with. When your body goes through a dietary change that's fairly violent, your body has to adapt to it. When I say adapt, it's all geared up to, if it's a factory, it's all geared up to make an iPhone. And then you change it to making a power supply instead of an iPhone. Well, the factory's not prepared, it's not geared up to do that. So it takes time. Pull out the equipment that's specifically for iPhones and all the paraphernalia that goes with it. And then the power supply stuff that gets put into the factory, then the factory can start up again and it works well. In the meantime, there's things like teething problems, things like diarrhea or other effects, oxalate dumping or whatever. And that is what people go through, thinking that they can go from an iPhone to a power supply and have no, like it should be just instantaneous. Well, it doesn't work like that. Anyway, too much griping and whinging, I know. But while I'm cooking and while we're waiting, you may as well hear what I have to say. Okay, this is on 205, 205 degrees Celsius. So, and this is the last bit. The meal is nearly cooked, and I'll just take you up here and give you a good look. So there's some decent sort of chunks, those. And they cook beautifully, And when they're that size, you don't even have, you just dig your fork into them and then nibble around the edges and eat them. You don't even need a bloody knife. And because there's no big, strong, fatty sinews, you sort of render that down when you're making these bits. There might be the occasional bit in here, but anyway, bloody fantastic. And if at your place, Phil, there's 3.5 people, 3.25 people, then obviously, this pan is big enough to cook for 3 people. Astrid won't eat huge amounts because she'll be worried about calorie restriction, because that's what she's done with the other diets. But you don't need to calorie restrict. You don't even need to weigh yourself on the scale. Put a tape around your waist when you start. Do it. Stick to it for, as they say, 90 days, which isn't long. 90 days, and in that 90 days you can progress from caring about all these animals that you're going to die for them, but they're going to die anyway, whether you die for them or not. But animals die. Animals die when there's farming done of any kind, or even humans doing anything. Animals die every day. If you give animals a good life and then you eat them, what's wrong with that? Look at vegetable matter or plants. Do you see the horrendous way plants are treated in the industries? Stacked up cheek by jowl, as many as can be grown as close together, just like the chooks. Are they living? Yes, they're living. Are they sentient? Well, I don't know. They might be, but they're still living things. And just because they don't have, I mean, you're a racist if you think that plants aren't worthy of respect. And plants know that. They know that animals don't respect them, so they make poisons, and those poisons are what make the animals respect them. You eat me, I'll kill you. Pretty simple. Animals, on the other hand, you treat us right and we'll feed you. And I believe in God, and I think they were put here for us. Plants were put here for the animals that we eat. Listen to that sizzling goodness. This is a bit the same. It'll pop and carry on as well, but the bits are big enough that they don't fly out of the pan. There was shrapnel going all over the kitchen, and Sam left the scene very pronto. I don't know whether he's found it as a piece somewhere. Oh, could you do me a favour? Mm-hmm. Get me a fizzy, please. I don't want to leave this, and I don't want to leave the people, on their own. I don't want them thinking that they're free to do whatever they want. Yeah, there's an exam at the end. I don't know how we work it, but the exam is look at you and look at how you feel, and with that exam that you have at the end of 90 days, you'll know whether you passed or whether you failed. If you passed and you adhered to this and looked at the information and took it all on board with an open mind, what you'll have is the pass mark that says, I'm going to live happier, healthier and longer than I would have otherwise. End of story. Our drink of choice now is soda water. We bought a fridge, a beer fridge, specifically for making beer. Well, yeah, a beer fridge. Two of the kegs, 20-litre kegs, a CO2 bottle that you get filled at the beer making place, the taps and everything, and the fridge and the taps and you can make year-round soda water that isn't sweetened, it's not tainted. The only taint is carbon dioxide, which I'm sure is going to be the end of life. In fact, we're sequestering carbon dioxide away in those bottles until we use it. So we're actually sequestering carbon dioxide. We're doing the world a favour. So I've allowed that to sear and cook really well. What that's going to do, because this is faster, it caramelises the oils and the meat juices. I'm going to bring the temperature down a little bit. I'm going to get a bit of water, filtered water, into that. I'm going to deglaze. Look at the colours in that. Look at the colours. it's cooked well. Not overcooked, because these are quite thick slices, so in the middle it's going to be pretty good. Right, so now I'm going to turn that off. A little bit more water, just deglaze it again. So now what's happening is, as it cools down now and the water, the majority of the water evaporates away, what you end up with is a sauce, a self-made sauce. And there is that self-made sauce. See the colour of it? There's no flour, there's nothing, no thickener or anything in there. Well, there is a thickener, it's called fat. So that's the thickener. And the water deglazed the pan. So now the pan is completely perfect. Deglazed, not stuck, nothing. Now you've got that beautiful meat. The colour's beautiful. It's cooked, that's dinner. That's it done. Now I'll just shovel out the produce. Dealer's meal's done. Plate it up. The only thing I'm going to add is some salt. Now I get some of this juice and just drizzle it. Some for me. Juicy goodness. I think a hurdy-hoop-na-hur chef had done this. That is it. I'll just put the lid on, let that cool. And we either use it, which you probably won't use that, let the dog have that, but you almost don't even need. Oh, and I was saying on my other video, which I didn't end up producing, but these need to be changed every so often, because when you have a carnivore lifestyle, the fat gets into these, and don't be a cheapskate, replace them on a regular basis, because it's not nice. I mean, probably not going to hurt you. I think the meat, the fat that gets in there has its own anti-biological, that's my belief anyway. But anyway, if it doesn't, well, just, so that's that. It's all plated up, and I'll just show you. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. Bit of salt on that one, bit of salt on that one. Okay. And, maybe if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you don't see that as looking nice. But trust me, after a very short period of time, not very long at all, you'll see that and you'll be going, hold me back. I can't get there quick enough. So that's it. So I don't know how long that took. It's now 4:15 and I started at, what did I say, 3:20 maybe. I mean, I think after that, 3:20, 3:30, 3:40. Yeah, it's not very long. That's only 35 minutes from getting the video set up and actually videoing it rather than just making dinner. Done. We're going to eat. And we're going to eat at 16:15, so 4:15 p.m. That way our food is pretty well digested by the time we get ready for bed. Get ready for bed at 5:30, 6 o'clock, as in prepare our minds for bed, stop watching TV or maybe some easy stuff, no action movies or anything like that. Listen to some music, do some reading, get into bed. Done. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you try it for yourself. I know you will, Phil, but I'm talking to Astrid and Stephanie, and even Alice. Okay, see ya. Said see ya. Bye.